What's up, guys? It's Automotive Anonymous. If you're new to my channel, I do car reviews, truck reviews, 0 to 60s, and other cool stuff. Today we have another 2023 Mazda CX-50. These things are dang cool. They're brand new for this year, as in they're a brand new model, not just a new generation. They're off of the CX-30 platform. They're very sporty and agile, and when it's the Meridian Turbo, it's pretty dang aggressive looking and very powerful. So we're going to dive right in with a walk around, go through the specs, initial driving impressions 0 to 60, and final thoughts to decide, is it worth your time and money? And big thanks to Goody Mazda in Southern Idaho for letting me borrow it. I'll link it below if you guys are interested. Otherwise, let's get right to it. This is the Meridian, so it's the 8th trim level. The base trim level would start at about $28,000. A Meridian starts at about $40,000. It additionally has the Apex package on it, which adds the roof rack, the rails, the splash guards, and a few other features like that off of the base Meridian, which already has those Falcon aggressive tires, 18-inch wheels. It's a 225/60/18, and of course you can't forget, it's listed on the hood so you don't forget what you're driving, the CX-50 Meridian edition on the hood decal. So they're very interesting, very cool. This is poly metal gray metallic. It has terracotta interior, which makes it a really cool contrasting color combo. They compete against things like the RAV4 TRD, the Tucson, the Rogue, the Subaru Forester Wilderness. I've reviewed a lot of those, and I do think it is a fairly comparable vehicle. I'll show you under the hood soon. It makes 256 horse, 320 pound-feet of torque if you're using 91 octane. The gas tank's located on the driver's side. It gets 23 city, 29 highway. So with a 15.8 gallon tank, you're road tripping for about 450 miles if you want between fill-ups. The wheelbase is about 9 feet. It weighs about 3,900 pounds, so it's very well planted on the road. The final drive ratio is a 437, so it actually puts the power down very nicely, as you'll see during the driving impressions with that turbo. It has a steel spare tire in the back, the tools you need to change it, of course, and a lot of other great standard features. So let's hop into the Meridian Turbo, see what it has to offer. Door panels look really nice. If you haven't seen my other CX-50 videos, I did a Premium Plus and a Preferred Plus, and this is about as good as it gets. You get the fun cross-stitching up top, soft touch. The door card is a soft touch, and terracotta color with the big handle. You guys know I like handles like this. You get the bottle holder. It bellows in a little bit, which is nice, and then a pretty deep storage spot for whatever snacks you're going to include. I need you guys to comment below, what snacks are you currently thinking about? Nothing on the door sill. The floor mats are not yet installed. We have rubberized pedals, hood release, memory seats, and then these are the buttons you get on the Meridian. Lighting stock on the left and the trip reset right there. Power adjustment seats. The color sure looks fantastic, and the contrasts in the stitching and the black strip really look nice. Let's hop inside and fire this puppy up. Push button start, of course. Mazda steering wheel looks really good. The horn sounds fine. Nothing too crazy. We have paddle shifters back here. And then a nice big electronic display in the center and tack on the left. Up here, we have a 12 volt. We have a rubber line storage. We have a couple of nice sized cup holders in piano black. Around the shifter, if you want to bump it over to manual mode and go up and down and play musical gears, you are welcome to do that. You have 2 extra drive modes. If you go up, you have sport. If you go down, you have off-road. You have the scrolly dial, which Mazda is famous for. It's a 10-inch display. It's out of your view of sight, which is a fantastic feature, and it just becomes muscle memory to use. You have an electronic parking brake, auto vehicle hold, the volume, and you guys know I usually just turn off the screen by holding that button down, and then whatever you want to set up with the star. 2-stage center armrest with 2 USBs down there. Decent size for the class. It is felt lined at the bottom, feels pretty darn cool. You have your garage door settings right here, your lighting for you and your passenger, and then electronic moonroof and shade. Pretty cool, looks fantastic up there. And there's the shade in action. But it's too nice of a day to not have that thing open. We're gonna turn off the car, hop in the back. The back door panel follows the same theme. You're missing out on a little bit of stuff like those extra controls and the size of the cubby, but it's not bad. It's actually pretty good for what you get back here, as well as another grab handle, which I like. The seats look fantastic. It is a 60-40 split, and they're not too heavy. They can lay basically flat with the back. Sitting behind herself, I'm 5'11", and I have about 2 inches of room in front of my knees and 1 to 2 inches above my head, depending on where you line up with where the moonroof ends. You have ventilation, a couple USBs, and then 2 cup holders in the armrest. But no heated seats on this Turbo Meridian. You have to go to a higher trim level if you want something like that. There's a few ways to open the back. You could use the remote, you could use the button right here, which is what we're gonna do. Power lift. You have about 31 feet back here as it sits with the seats up. If you fold down the second row, you have about 55, 56. You can also drop the seats like that, nice and easily. LED lighting, you have a couple bag clips and tie downs throughout. Storage behind the rear wheel wells, and then our spare tire with the tools, it's hiding down here. You have a little bit of extra room around it, so you could hide a few thin items or bendable, flexible items. And then you can lower, or you could lock the whole car. And that's a nice feature. I have the same thing on my Outback Wilderness, and it's used quite often. The back passenger door panel looks identical. The 40 split being on the passenger side. And then this is your designated mat pocket. The CX-50 has quite a bit of room inside, but not enough to have dueling backseat drivers. So only one backseat driver right there. And if you're riding shotgun, you might not have enough room or storage to actually hold a shotgun, but you do get basically the same setup as the driver, which is pretty darn nice. Power seat, really cool, no embroidery or stamping, but you don't need it with these seats. They're heated, they feel great. And then a non-lock and glove box with the 2-shelf stage. You have all your pamphlets and your lug nut lock right there. No USBs or anything, but more than enough space and bigger than most glove boxes in this class. I know you guys are waiting to see what's under the hood, and I want to see as well. I've driven a lot of the other 2.5 turbos, so let's see what this one looks like. Pop the hood. Under the hood, we have 320 pound-feet of torque, 256 horse out of the standard Skyactiv G turbo that's on the CX-30, the CX-9, the CX-5, all those other turbos. It's a really good platform. Air filter, ducting, the magical Spinny Boy turbo in the back. You can see it right there, easy to get to if you had to. And then it goes through to the front side of the engine. You have your brake fluid reservoir, your battery with your positive and negative terminal. You have your coolant reservoir. You have your windshield washer, alternator right there, and the serpentine belt. This is a transversely mounted engine because it's front wheel drive biased. 5W3 full synthetic oil dipstick. There's a decent amount of room if you ever had to work under here for some reason, but these are also very well developed engines. A lot of the kinks are worked out. By the time the CX-50 came rolling around and it inherited the platform, the engines that it has, it's going to be in good shape. Probably going to last you guys a whole lot of time and miles to have some fun. Let's drop the hood. And my favorite part, we're going to teleport inside, take it for a drive, and see how it does on the road. Initial driving impressions of the CX-50 Turbo Meridian. So that's really good. The power delivery comes on strong. The brakes are pretty linear. They feel pretty good. There's no sharp engagement point or anything. Visibility is fantastic because it's a Mazda. You'll see the D pillars are a little bit wide, but that's where using your mirrors come in. Having blind spot detection, which is really a nice feature. So you can see out of the CX-50 really well. I've driven a few of these now, as mentioned, and I like them a lot. They feel really planted on the road. Having about a 9-foot wheelbase and being almost 4,000 pounds really gives it a good amount of stability on the road. The steering wheel feels great. Your whole human-centric setup in this vehicle is just fantastic. Armrest comfort is great. Same with the center console. All the controls are right where they're needed to be. Everything you can easily get to. I like that the display is not in my way. They're not specifically labeled as Bose speakers, but they sound really good, surprisingly good actually. And then the cabin is well insulated because it's actually kind of a windy day out today, if you guys haven't already heard on camera. And I can't hear a lot of that wind noise. I feel really comfortable and just enjoying my time. The terracotta interior sounds fantastic. You feel like you're driving something special when you're driving this. And not just because you can see your wide fenders in the mirror, but overall it just feels like a really nice vehicle. And I'm enjoying my time in it. I think you guys should go test drive one if you're in the market for something like this. What are your thoughts? Do you like the setup? Do you like the simple display? The seats don't have very aggressive bolstering, so they do feel pretty good. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy them. I would speculate that if you're over 6'2", maybe 6'3", or you just have a really tall torso, you might not be as comfortable in this vehicle. But as is, I'm having a good time and I'm really liking it. We don't have any snow or mud to test the all-terrain tires and all-wheel drive system today, but it is a front-wheel drive bias system, so keep that in mind. But on the road, it feels great. Let's do one more acceleration before we get to our private road. Power comes on strong. I really like the characteristics of this 2.5 turbo engine. And with the 6-speed, it does a lot of good work keeping you right in the power band you need to be in. But we're almost to our road. See you in a second. 0 to 60 in the Turbo Meridian. We are in sport mode. Traction control is off. It's about 3,200 feet of density altitude, so this vehicle is down on power about 5%. I'll verbalize the true 0 to 60, and then I'll show the graph after. The bottom left shows without the foot of rollout. Let's see what it can do. And right off the line, it pulls really well. True 0 to 60 came in at 7.18 seconds. Not bad given our circumstances. Let's get to our final thoughts. Final thoughts of the CX-50 Meridian Turbo is it's pretty darn cool. It's the 8th of 10 trim levels. It's a good sized vehicle for a 5-passenger crossover, being under 16 feet long, over 6 feet wide, and 5 feet tall. And having the powertrain that it does to do a true 0 to 60 in just over 7 seconds in our area, that's honestly pretty impressive. Having the capacity, you know, almost 9 inches of ground clearance, these Wild Peak tires, you can really have a whole lot of fun in this. And because it's a new platform, not many people have seen it, so it stands out on the road. It looks really aggressive with those wide fenders. And it's a very safe vehicle because it's a Mazda with a bunch of safety features. So what are your thoughts, guys? Are you going to buy one? Do you own one? What are you comparing it to? Let me know in the comments. Like always, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing to bookmark my channel. If you want to see more, I've done a whole lot of Mazda products. I've done a few other of the CX-50s and some of its competitors. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.